Hey girl, why don't you let my basilisk into your chamber of secrets? I'm never saying that joke again, I'm so sorry. Alright YouTube, it's me Kieran, and today we are continuing the series where I point out some of the things that you might have missed whilst watching the Harry Potter films. The last video that I did on the Philosopher's Stone seemed to go down pretty well, so I will indeed be carrying this on for the remaining 7 films. And we can get started today by listing all of the things that you might have missed in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Some fans like to question whether Albus Dumbledore really belonged in Gryffindor, saying that because of his intelligence he was much more suited to being a Ravenclaw. Now, whether it was addressed deliberately or not is unknown, but when Harry goes to enter Dumbledore's office, the door just so happens to have a statue of a griffin next to it, making it a Gryffindor. Yeah, can we get one of those? Thank you, it's a really funny joke. The line that Malfoy says to Goyle, "I didn't know that you could read," was actually improvised by Tom Felton because he forgot his actual line. You should be careful, Tom, you don't want to see what happened to the next person that insulted Goyle.
Goyle set the bloody place on fire!
This isn't the only case of improvisation in the film, as Jason Isaacs revealed that Lucius Malfoy and Harry's exchange in Dumbledore's office was also improvised by both actors. Shirley Henderson, the actress who plays Moaning Myrtle, was actually a stunning 23 years older than her character. Myrtle is of course a 14-year-old student ghost, but Henderson was 37 years old when portraying her in this film, which suddenly makes the idea of her flirting with a 12-year-old Daniel Radcliffe a little bit more disturbing.
Oh, Harry, if you die down there, you're welcome to share my toilet.
In this scene, it isn't very easy to hear the words that Mr. Weasley says to Hermione's parents, as the scene is more focused on Lucius Malfoy and Hermione. But if you actually raise the volume a little bit, you can hear the line is actually, "I understand that other muggles are afraid of you." This, of course, being a reference to the fact that Hermione's parents are dentists. I know it's only meant to be a joke, but that is probably the only correct statement that Arthur makes about muggles in this whole series. I was always impressed by how still the actors and actresses were in the scenes that they had been petrified. They literally do not move a muscle. But it turns out these aren't the actual actors at all, because all of the characters that were petrified in the film were replaced with real life-size models of themselves. In both the scene where Hagrid escorts Harry out of Knockturn Alley and the scene where Lockhart is taking photos for the Daily Prophet, hardcover editions of the Harry Potter books can be spotted on the shelves. And that is taking product placement to a whole new level. I've already mentioned it once in my Did Harry Potter Copy Star Wars video, but the soundtrack used in the Quidditch match is also used in another film composed by John Williams, Star Wars and the Attack of the Clones. All 4 of the director Chris Columbus's children were cast in this film. Eleanor Columbus plays Susan Bones, a role that she took up in the Philosopher's Stone as well. Brendan Columbus plays a boy in the study hall, Violet Columbus plays the little girl with flowers, and Isabella Columbus played a little girl in the bookstore. And now I know my way into the Fantastic Beasts franchise. I just need to get my dad to direct the next film. That may take longer than I think. This may be the first film that Jason Isaacs appears as Lucius Malfoy, but that was not his only job for this film. He also provided the voice of the basilisk calling to its victims. And you know what? He did a pretty damn good job of playing that evil scaly monster. And he wasn't too bad as the basilisk either. Despite having a much larger amount of screen time as opposed to the other films, Crabbe and Goyle do not have a single line of dialogue throughout the film, with the lines being read out by Daniel Radcliffe and Rupert Grint during the Polyjuice Potion scene, and they just sort of grunted in the scene where they were eating the cakes. You know what? No one ever makes a big enough deal out of that scene. Am I the only one who noticed Harry and Ron literally drugged and kidnapped Crabbe and Goyle? But Gryffindor's the good guys, right? I think not. Crabbe and Goyle aren't the only characters to have their lines dubbed in the film, as Martin Bayfield, who played young Hagrid, had his lines dubbed by Robbie Coltrane. Speaking of Hagrid, when he bursts into Dumbledore's office to protest Harry's innocence, he just so happens to be carrying a dead rooster in his hand. This is a nod to the book where all of Hagrid's roosters were killed, as their cry is fatal to the basilisk. So I think it's about time we bring up the fact that Lucius Malfoy literally tries to kill Harry in the middle of a school corridor after losing ownership of Dobby. He is interrupted by Dobby's spell, but it is very clear that he is about to use the Avada Kedavra killing curse on Harry.
You shall not harm Harry Potter.
But it turns out there is an explanation to this given to us by Jason Isaacs. The novel did not specify any particular spell for Malfoy to use, so as Isaacs was reading the Goblet of Fire at the time, he literally used the only curse that he could remember. Boy, it's a good thing he wasn't reading the Philosopher's Stone at the time, because I don't think Sunshine Daisy Buttermellow turned this stupid fat rat yellow would have had the same effect. During the dueling club scene, when Snape bends down to help up Malfoy, a cameraman can quite clearly be seen in the bottom left-hand corner. We all remember the scene where Hermione hugs Harry and shakes Ron's hand towards the end of the film. But it turns out the original script said that Hermione was to hug both Harry and Ron. The reason it was changed is because 11-year-old Emma Watson felt very embarrassed about having to hug both Dan and Rupert in front of the whole cast. The hug between Hermione and Harry also had to be frozen for a few seconds as Emma kept letting go of Dan too quickly. God, if she got that worked up about hugging both of them, imagine her reaction when she was told she would have to kiss both of them.
Excuse me, I have to go and vomit.
And that is it for today's list. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure you click on that like button down below and comment any other little details you noticed about the film. Next week we'll be moving on to The Prisoner of Azkaban, so make sure you subscribe and hit on that notifications button so you do not miss it. Also, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. The links are always in the description below. That's all from me for now, and I will see you guys next time. Think slow. We're mixing up the outro because why not? Because you gotta keep people on their toes. Okay, goodbye. That's enough from me. Bye. And that is it for today's list. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure you click on that like button and comment. I did it again. I did this in the last video. Yeah, just comment word for word.